I'll officially start recording as well. So, we'll get it figured out, guys. We'll make it work. Um, let's see. Because your mic is fuzziness. Give me a second. Let me go get my headphone that I use for PlayStation, and maybe that will actually be a better mic. Give me 2 seconds, guys, and then I'll go over kind of what we're doing. Headset with microphone. All right. So, just give me if this is better or worse. Why don't anyone play a cancel spell to Jeff getting a mic? Okay. How does it? Oh my god! All right. So the stream chat scrolls super fast, so I gotta maybe load up a second window here. Hey guys. I think if I watch the stream simultaneous, I can you can raise the voice volume a little bit. Okay. Testing. Hello. Testing. Is this better? The mic has less background noise, but you have to speak louder. It's very quiet. I love the constant whistling effects. Oh yeah, I can hear that whistling. What the hell is that? Ew. Hold up. Yeah. Alright. For now, guys, I apologize. It might just be bad mic. I apologize. We'll do what we can. Dude, oh my god, so many people messaging me. Jeremy, just write the command again, and then I'll do it. So. It's all the wind cards blowing me away. Sound of severing winds canceling my mic. Why do you keep nerfing Mercy? So, I don't know why, but the stream chat has doubled up. Anyways, alright guys, let's get started. This feels like a classroom thing. So, thank you for stopping by. I have a couple things I do want to talk about today, just as a heads up. And then after that, I'll just open the floor up to you guys to, you ask questions, I'll answer them. And if I can ever figure out how to get music working, that'll be cool. So just as a heads up, last reminder, I think Sunday is the last day. So, oh, check this out. I even added these. Oh, hold on. Yay, okay. Card overlays. So the weekend is the finale of the My Will, My Game campaign. So if you have not already, please try to sign up on the WPS system there. Yeah, I love Booty Cat. That was from me. You're welcome. This is the probably last chance for that. It's been going from the 14th. It will finish Sunday night in EST, I think, midnight. So Japan Monday. Choose your time zone accordingly. Why cat? This is a reminder for people to sign up for the My Will My Game campaign, and then if you're not in a country with the Willpower app, it's okay. You, Jason, if you're not in the Willpower app countries, that's okay. Your countries are if you're part of the like major ones, the your distributors will be getting some of those promos, and they will be distributing them with the EU system that you guys use. So that's, yeah, I know, right? The old cards, new border, feels good. So, oh, difficult to hear me? Should I speak loudly? So that's going on just as a reminder to everybody. And so do you know the odds of this promotion? Oh, well, hi, I'm here. I have no idea what the percentages are going to be, but I will say I believe that my goal was to give people opportunities to get Cheshires, and for people that like Wander to have a chance to get some, because maybe Two Towers isn't actively available anymore. So definitely an option. My Twitch shart the bed. What's happening with people outside Willpower app regions? Just your distributors and or whoever manages your system are going to be helping with that. Oh, you already have a playset? Good. Do you have ones with stamps on them? Alright. So Nuka there, Tabula. I've actually thought about something like that, but it totally depends on how popular Wanderer is, and depending on kind of where it could ever slot in. So it's not official. I've thought about it, but it's just a matter of like, if Wanderer, how many Cheshires do I have? Like 50, because my Japanese team name is Oshiri Neko. But as far as, alright, so moving off of the My Will, My Game thing, let's go back to, let's get rid of this, and I will just open up the floor for the free questions and answers. So go ahead, guys. I'll read through. I will warn you, when I answer a question, I usually take a pretty long time, so I'll try to condense my answers into short answers, but I'll just start going in here. Are we going to see some kind of update to the Battle Sim? The goal, if you're not aware, is to make the Battle Sim open source and give that out sometime within this year. Hello from Colombia, or hello to Colombia. What's going on in Battle Simulator? So we're figuring out the copyright stuff just to make sure people aren't using it for stuff that isn't what we'd like. But as far as getting it out the door to you guys, the goal would be sometime by the next cluster, but that's just what we've discussed so far. Oh my god, there's so many messages. I will do my best, guys, to keep up with this, but this is crazy. Okay. Good evening, no WPS. When is the ban list? The ban list is, the announcement is next Friday. The effective date is the release date of the set. Has the set after time spending which been created and printed, or is there time for change and watered down? So the set has been created. As far as where it is in the print, like, what should we say, like the printing process, that part, to be honest, I'm not sure right away. Yep, so the update for the ban list will be on Friday. That will not be the effective date. That's important to note. So you'll have a week. Please, I can be unmuted from the official page. So yeah, that's the as far as Banlist stuff happening. Sorry, Jeremy, I totally forgot to do that. Give me one sec, guys. I just need to. I'm not good at. Will the ban list take into consideration the latest expansion when they are released? So, if you get me talking about the ban list, I'm going to talk about it forever. Here, give me one sec. Jeremy, just tell me your username real quick. Is it just DMO73? Yep. Is that not a 0? Alright. Anyways, let's see. Alright. Let's talk. About ruler pull rates. That's a popular one. I'm sure lots of people got questions on that one. So, obviously, R2, I mean, I buy boxes for myself. So, I feel your pain with R2. And obviously it was a 40% because there's 20% for, or 20% chance for IU, 20% chance for Welsser, and then 30% for the reprinted rulers. For R3, obviously that's different. We have 3 new rulers, so it should be 20-20-20. So 60% for new rulers, and then obviously the new arts for Kirk and Shayla. Difference being that Shayla and Kirk are actually good. Well, I'm on Team Shayla, so I don't care about Kirk. No, kidding. But as far as... Alright, so there was that question addressed. Yes, unfortunately, for the... at least R3, we're going back to the old box style. Just simply the printing company. That's all that came down to. Let's see. Hey, man. Are we going to be getting more Cthulhu's? And what about a one-drop fairy tale for Rapunzel when Lapis rotates out? Oh, off the top of my head, I don't remember. What's your opinion on After Dark? I have a very low opinion of them, for the most part, to be honest. More so because of the... just... I mean, even... yes, like, not just as a company standpoint, but from my own standpoint, that just a little bit disappointed in lack of professionalism, poor behavior, and just... I mean, the world's got enough problems as it is. We really don't need our hobbies to be such a black hole. That's all I'll say on that. Can you give us a small... I think the starter deck, or not starter deck, but the Lost Tomes there, previews start Monday, I think. And actually, if today's Saturday, I think there should be a video coming out soon that has Edgy and I playing with the starter decks. So there might be some previews in that. But I do actually have some stuff I want to show you guys at the end, during the wrap-up there. So you're going to have to wait for that. Will the starter decks... but yes, so answer that. Is it known... so from all the information we got, just a correlation there. That's all. When can we expect the video? I'm not sure. It's either this weekend or next weekend, I think. But it's super embarrassing, and it's therefore it's good. How has working for Force of Will been? Good, to be honest. I really enjoy it. It's a lot of work, and it's very busy. For those that don't know, I'm a full-time professor also. So, yay! I love having tons and tons of work, but that's it's good for me. It's good, hopefully, for the game as well. I think that my goal is to let my results prove my points. So that's kind of my work ethic in that regard. Obviously, I think we all enjoy the game a lot, and so I think this is a great chance to kind of push in the direction that it could be. So for the person who just asked about buying a box online, did you buy your box online in America or in the EU? Or it totally depends on where you are. If you're in the US, you're not getting random boosters. You're sending your stuff probably to Rob, and he's going to exchange them on a one-to-one basis. If you're in the EU and you bought it online, yes, you should get a random booster. That's my understanding from the conversations I've had so far. Is Sylvia evil? Is she more like an anti-hero? Do you count as evil if you judgment and they sack their creature and then you have to ping yourself and you untap 3 stones and then die? But as far as like actual like motivation and stuff, that's I'm not my predecessor when it comes to the storyline stuff, so I can't answer that as good as. And now the story person in Japan, like, they're doing most of that, and I haven't had time to ask them enough story questions. Have you seen any custom cards in the wild? Yeah, I look at a lot of the custom cards, but my issue with a lot of them is they make a lot of design mistakes, and as far as just over wordiness, complexity levels, balancing issues, like all kinds of stuff. I'm, as some of the people in this chat might know, I'm very passionate about game design, even though I'm not a designer, let's be clear. It's just, that's something I'm very passionate about, and I think that it's a muscle that people need to exercise more. Anyways, is Lost Tomes only one starter? Yes, it is. It's only one. And for someone else who asked, it is the replacement for Vingolf for this spring. Are we in spring yet? Fall? Winter? I don't know when we are. Can I give you hints about the ban list? No. But I'll say something funny that no one will care about except for maybe Kaifu if he's watching. I tried to have them advocate for a limit list on some cards in Origins. So this doesn't affect America at all, or most of Europe, but just as a silly thing. Like, I've talked with, I play Origins a lot, and with the Japanese community, and we kind of tried to put something together. So I don't know if that'll actually be approved, but are you guys planning on bringing the Battle Simulator? Well, that will depend on the coding skills of the people who get access to it once we give it to you guys as open source. Any more Wicked Spirits? I'll spoiler it if it hasn't already been spoilered, but there's one Wicked Spirits in R3. I don't know if it's been shown yet, but there is one. And copying to, do you know how Australia is going to deal with the misprint? I believe Australia is part of C distribution, and if it is part of C distribution, then it will be the random pack. But I'm not totally sure. How it should work, and this is for the world from my understanding. You get me started on that. Oh, park our toys over here. I'll go back to that in just a second, but it should be U.S. is, not just U.S. Canada, U.S., Mexico, Latin America, and South America will all be one-for-one trade-in. EU and C will be random boosters. And Japan will be 1-for-1, but only, like, Japanese players will just send to Japan. So that way it doesn't kill you guys. Looking for the... this guy? Man, I can't do this. Let's, here, this one. Yay, band girls. Let's see here. Would there be any more different products? Card tins, special sets, figuring. Give me origin support. I heard you tried to limit some cards, but don't hurt my cancer deck. If you're talking about the Chronos Cancer deck, then I just made it more susceptible to actually being answered. Who's asking about... Do you guys use chat? So I use Line, if that was what the question was. It just scrolled past super fast. But I use Line personally. I won't tell you my Line account because I use it for students and for, like, family. So it's already, like, 200 or 300 people. I don't need more. From what I've heard, the staff of 4th Rails is small. Do you plans to reinforce your numbers? In Japan, not that I know of. Jeff, are you doing okay, by the way? I'm all right. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't tired. I was asking if it was possible to get Force of Will. That would be cool. I don't know. Oh, I wonder if... I'm so cheap. All right, to give you an idea, I'm so cheap, I don't even... I watch the videos every day to get the free Line coins, and then, like, maybe once every 3 months I can buy one thing of stickers. To the person who asked about limiting cards, all right, so let's talk about that for a second. As I've mentioned many times, I do not like randomness, especially in a competitive game. The idea of limiting cards works great in Yu-Gi-Oh!, where there's tons of deck manipulation, like searching, and where you have cards that, like, plus 10 off of existing. And so in those games, it makes sense, and it's been traditionally a part of, like, the history of the game. And there's no mulligan in Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? So the game kind of accepts a certain amount of randomness in the game. It's like, hey, you know what? I lost, but I died in 2 turns, so whatever. In contrast, let's talk about some of the other big games. Magic, Shadowverse / Hearthstone, they have their own issues. Hearthstone, of course, embraces randomness to a huge degree. Shadowverse tends to be more Magic-esque, and so that's why it generally didn't have the limit list until it just introduced the unlimited format. As far as for Magic and for our game, I'm a big fan of the skill-based gameplay. And the idea of limiting cards essentially brings the game down to, if the card is strong enough that everyone always wants to play it, then it probably is going to be beneficial to whoever draws it first. And if you've ever used the miracle mechanic in Magic, one of my favorite things ever was LSV or Kibler losing to a top-decked, I forget what it is, the burn spell one. And the face was just like, are you kidding me? And it brings back that idea of just, I don't think limiting has a place in competitive gameplay. Yes, it's true that the percentages both go down equally, but it also increases the variance of, Bonfire of the Damned, thank you. It increases the variance of getting that, and I want a game to be based on skill. Like, our game is fairly skill intensive. There's a lot of decisions to be made, and so it really helps, in my opinion, if we do a simple binary. There's logistical issues as well, and so that's a whole another can of worms. But just from this is my personal point of view on limiting versus banning. But 0 and 1 is a big difference. Trying to differentiate, like, what's good at 3, what's good at 2, what's good at 4, that's a very complex decision to actually make if you're going to do it based on data and not just, I think this. And so that's, I mean, it's already hard enough to decide what should be banned and what shouldn't be banned, right? So to try to play with it even more, that's a can of worms I'm willing to pass on. Let's see. This Q&A is going back. Valhalla, no, keep Valhalla exclusive to beta players like me. I mean, they have already used some of the Valhalla artwork again as other cards. Opinion on dual stones, that's a good question. No problem, people thanking me for doing this. So I'll get to the dual stones just a second. Just as a heads up, guys, I will not be doing weekly Q&As. Let's be serious. I'm super busy already. I have so much work to do for university and for Force of Will. And then on top of that, like, I still try to make sure I go and play locals every week. So this week I can't go to locals. But that is actually really important to me so that I can know what's going on to the average player. And then also, you know, girlfriend thing, like, hey, Jeff, what are you doing? Oh, talking about nerd cards on the internet for 2 hours? That's cool. No. So, trying to balance the life situation. And that's just, I'll try and do about once a month. So, as a heads up. As far as dual stones go, I'm really split on it, to be honest. I think on one side that Force of Will has always had them in the West, and for people who've had Grim Cluster, like, it was a very different game having that. So is there a plan to ban problematic cards like Severing Wind, other gems, and making sure it's just because blah, 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 blah. The ban issue... sorry, let me finish the stones. Man, I get off topic. The stones is actually a very good issue to talk about. To be honest, I don't have the answer. I am a legacy player in Magic, and so I can't say that I don't like dual stones that are perfectly overpowered, but I think at the same time there is having stones with drawbacks is a great, like, design choice, and it, like, there's this idea in teaching and in card games, etc. Limitations breed creativity. And so if we give you overpowered generic things, we end up with a bunch of good stuff.decks. If we limit you in some regard, like the Null Stone that is taps for black or ping you for 2, that breeds certain kind of creative decks. And like Freyla just got like a 6/6 now that was basically unplayable before, now is actually good. Well, to some degree. That kind of design space I really like. I like when people have decisions they need to make rather than just bleh. I was not a fan, and I'm still not a fan of generically all the good stuff in one deck, there you go. Because then it just becomes very samey, and I think that's boring. That's me personally. So, alright. Excuse me. I'm reading my notes. Oh, Idgy's messaging me. Let's see what he has to say. So in the past, let's see. Oh man, there's a bunch of questions here. Give me a sec, guys. I'm reading through. You guys are bringing back... So, the flip inverse thing. Are we going to talk about old mechanics? Alright. I'm incredibly passionate about our game's history. And so I really like the idea of kind of either referencing, going back, showing that, but that's also the design team's choice, and they do a lot of good stuff. Like, I've always said their creativity is awesome. I really enjoy that, but it's just a matter of fitting it into the set thematically, and does it make sense, and where should it go, how much should it go. As far as judge support, yes, there's more information coming, but just know that we are desperately trying to overhaul the judge program and increase the professionalism of it, increase the kind of reliability of the reward aspect of it, just overall making sure that, like, judges are our face, and so we want to make sure they are properly supported and that they have the company's backing, but also that they represent us in the best capacity. Let's see. Have you talked about banning? I talked about the ban list will show up next week. It won't be effective yet, but it will be up. How many cancel cards is too many? All right, but if we just want to briefly talk about the cancel spells, there are some cancel spells that, let's all agree, are not playable in anything more than, like, sealed pool as a, like, I guess I'll throw this in level of playability. So just as a heads up, guys, because the messages are scrolling so fast, we can't play the pronoun game. There's no it or they. Please specifically reference what you're speaking about. So that makes it just easier so I can read a question and answer it. Is there any prediction for a we are translating and working on bringing the Force of Will system IDs to the West, and by West I mean the USA. That's something that's been missing on the US's behalf. That would be very useful. It also lets us prevent like band players from even playing in locals. So if you're banned, you can play at your kitchen table, but that's it. And the idea of, like, earning points for playing at locals. So there's a reason to play at locals. And so the same for, like, at GPs, at Masters events, at Worlds events, kind of thing. In general sense, what is your opinion of a good justification? Oh, okay. This is personal. This is my opinion. So I've actually written a small article on this. Not one that's public, but just as a kind of philosophy of design. And ban cards are in my opinion, necessary evil to the greater good of any game. I think that the goal is always to strive to have perfect balance. That's not always feasible. Digital games can just errata their cards whenever they make a mistake, and if you count digital games changing cards, then actually printed cards generally have a better track record. However, I think that big things for me include meta distribution, deck viability, flexibility, cost to effect ratio, and the fun factor. Because let's be serious, like, we play a game to be fun. If a card is not fun, then if it's fun for somebody and there's answers to it, that's very different. But if a card is just not fun and there's no answers to it, that kind of pushes stuff. Like, imagine a certain Japanese card game that has an anime with crazy hair and dying on the first turn because you didn't have certain cards. Wow, that was fun. Obviously, you're very active in the U.S. Force page, are you right? I watch After Dark, and yes, I personally like memes, but I generally don't respond too much to... I love that there's so many Japanese anime that are crazy games that's not even specific which one I'm referencing. But the... Alright, let's see. Sorry. Any plans to play your system? I already answered something like that. Alright, going over to Jeremy's messages here. Not sure if you missed... Ah, the UK issues. Is it cool to contact you with specifics? It's causing problems. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. I know the UK system is a little bit messy right now. Last I heard, we're talking with the European main distributors and figuring out what the best way to go about dealing with that is. So I apologize that that is a thing. We're trying to kind of bring it back up, and so it's just finding the right person for the job, etc., etc. What? Let's see. How do we know? Is it annoying to block an attack just to have your opponent kill the blocker? Ah, so that's an inherent design choice, right? So think about it from the perspective of our game. Our game is, let's say, it benefits the attackers more than the blockers, right? Because A, you can't double block. B, if you kill the blocker, damage goes through. So that has inherent design effects in the game. So for something like Magic, where you can multiple block, and if it disappears, then the damage kind of fizzles, or unless you have trample or something, or you have Yu-Gi-Oh! Where like you have to attack the cards themselves. In our game, the attacker is kind of in a better position most times because attack plus removal is direct damage. So it's just an inherent game design choice. I don't know if when they made the game they planned on that. And if you remember, creatures were much smaller back in Valhalla and Grimcluster. And so just as kind of the creature standard has gone up, the speed of games has also gone up. So it's just something to consider that is a part of the game. I think it's an inherent design choice. Whether or not it's fit for the game as it is, I think is fine. It's just we design knowing that. Please, Jeff, please tell me if that shade was sent for Buddy Fight, because I'd feel so... To be honest, I used Vanguard cards only for tokens in Magic, so that should tell you my thought on it. Do you know what the Judge... Yes, I do know what the Judge promo is. And no, I won't tell you what it is. It should be printed soon, hopefully with both sides correct. Why? Do we know why? Oh, no, that's gone. Any news on casters? We need a caster stream. So caster stream would just be talking to me again, so with, I guess, a different focus. But so we'll keep it Force of Will today, but that's something to consider in the future. Something about casters. Is there a reason you aren't specifying your opinion on severing wins? Mostly the Oh, I have very strong opinions on them. You're just going to read about everything later. Will there be more Golem support for Pandora? I don't remember. This is not me ignoring you. This is just brain overload, to be honest. There's definitely some golems, at least in R3, if they haven't been shown yet. But I don't know. I can't remember off the top of my head how many or exactly what. Pandora deserves better. I know, right? Cute little girl. Is there... Oh. So, my friend list, for someone that asked about it, to be honest, I haven't added anyone that tried to add me on Facebook after I was announced as Liaison. So, I purposely friended people that I knew I would need to contact ahead of time. And it's nothing against you guys, it's just my Facebook is my personal private stuff, and I keep that for students and for family. So, of course, there are some people I have to talk to, and it's kind of annoying to have to re-log into a different page, so some people I contacted prior, but on the whole, that's why, if I didn't accept your friend request, that's probably why. It's nothing against you personally. How does the company feel about supporting the starter decks throughout the cluster? It's interesting. How does the company feel? They obviously like it because they kept doing it. But I think the constant support is interesting. I think that it could be done in a couple different ways that are viable. Um, it was an interesting experiment, and I think it's nice to have kind of a theme that goes throughout the blocks. So we have something that you can constantly like, oh, I get more cards from my deck, it gets better and better and better and better. Um, but I think it can be done kind of more balanced. Let's see. Oh, sorry guys, let me scroll through here. Oh, so someone asked me about what's the difference between fun and competitive, and hi Shingoki. Ah, I know who you are. So I think fun decks can be competitive, and I think competitive decks can be fun. To me, it's a matter of decision making and kind of I like playing the anti-meta decks. I love playing like knowing what's strong and then finding the cards that are good against it. So clearly, like I like something like Shahrazad because she has all the tools to basically main deck sideboard cards. So something like that, or like that to me is super fun. Now, is it strong? Is it competitive? Depends. I'm a big advocate of kind of pendulum swinging. And so fun is very subjective most of the time. I think if you actually sit down and break it down, you can actually objectively find out what you specifically find fun. But as a whole metric that you would try and measure, I think that's very difficult, especially on a broad scale, just because, I mean, you know the player psychographics, and so the value system is so different. So, like, when we have players that are like, this must be this way, they're looking at it from the perspective of their, let's say, sunglasses, how they see the game. No, I do not like pendulums in Yu-Gi-Oh. But the perspective is that of that type of player. And so, like, obviously control players are like, love counterspells. That's cool. That should be viable, but not overwhelming. The same should be true for aggro, for control, for mid-range, etc. What? I love pendulum cards. I love dumping my hand every turn. Well, I guess with the new rules update, it's not as bad. But let's see. Cheers from Chile. What deck are you looking forward to the most in R3? I will be honest. I am the most excited for Shayla, even though, like, because I built Shayla when she came out, and during the Prisia Fox meta, which was super fun, getting my shoved in by Prisia. But as far as, because you could make it fairly good as an OTK deck against Fox. Yeah, Bela, yeah. So I think that being strong, like Shayla has a lot of good choices. I think the deck changes a little bit going forward to R3, and that's okay. I'm super excited to try her out. Of course, Shahrazad. I love Liberator in the Wind, and just I will play Shahrazad whenever she's a thing. So that to me is just super exciting, and I love toolbox decks. So like the extra deck that Shahrazad has to always have access to, love it. Don't care, love it. That's cool. What else is fun? I'm not a big red guy. Like, I usually, when I play with my students at the university, I give them Kirk, and I'm like, here, you can try out Kirk. It's a fun deck. It's easy. Play aggro pigs and go at it. Whereas, like, I like to be more of a control player, but like aggro control to me is kind of fun. Like, if anyone's familiar with fairies, that was 10 years ago. I'm old. In Magic, yes, Stax is wonderful. That is my actual favorite deck. It's literally right over there. But The food fighter. I mean, all the pig cards are adorable, and I love it. And I've killed people in draft with the chicken, so I deserve some kind of award. So fight me. No, that was a good time though. As far as I think the other rulers, I'm trying to. Imul is cool, and actually she's got some really strong cards, but just not the artwork. She's probably my favorite, but just I don't tend to like. I like to take my time in Judgment, like halfway through the game. The like early Judgment or like multiple Judgment kind of decks, like that. Just my brain doesn't go that way. Needless to say, I didn't play Val 2, even though she's very nice. So let's see. Do we know how Pig's chicken? Pigs taste better, so I'll give you that. Do they though? Anyways, not to get off topic. Who is a time-spinning witch? There's a picture of her in one of the cards, and they talk about her, but I won't spoil it. Losing one turn of weather doesn't do anything. Haha. So, whoever said that, I don't know if anyone even said that, but, like, the anti-weather card is not... It's good, yeah, like, it can be like, I played this, you're not going to get the thunderstorm effects or the rain effects, which, that's viable. Have you ever faced against fair? Is that supposed to be fair, or is that, and with what deck? Sorry, guys, you gotta give me just a full question, no pronoun game or kind of half context. But yes, I have all the competitive decks built. If you didn't know, I run the Forced Origins website, so I literally see every best deck that gets posted, and I make all of them just to have them and test them out and make sure I understand why they work the way they do. And I did that before I was even working for Force of Will, just as a game design standpoint. But favorite character in the lore? Ooh, weird question, but all right, favorite character in the lore? Hold on, let me show you. So, as I've said before, my kind of like, before I was working, my team name was Oshiri Neko. And so, if you're not familiar what that means in Japanese, it's butt cat. So, I like Cheshire cats, alright? I like the theme of Cheshire. I like the... I think, yeah. To give you an idea, I literally have a book of Alice in Wonderland, and I'm pretty sure I have the Japanese version, like, in the other room. So, like, I really like Alice in Wonderland. So, needless to say, like, the idea of all the Cheshires, too, not just our version. I love... the Disney version, the old, I think it's 60s version, the pink one with the spirals. So, yes, I am responsible for the promo. You're welcome. Of course! And if Jason is in this room, I'll answer for him. Cheshire, the subtext is a man, because it's a male reference to this. But the artwork, to me, is female. That's all I'll say. If it wasn't obvious, obviously I'm a fan of literature, so that's why I like Cheshire. Charlotte Ruler, and it's so fun watching my opponent as a power-up million with 3,000 attack with flying. Wait, which? Charlotte, the flip over and draw cards one? Which Milliam are we talking about? I loved Cheshire Cat's assistance from a idea perspective, but let's just say that in our game as a one cost, maybe not a great idea. Like, it's a awesome ability. Like, if you're familiar with Magic yet again, there's a 5 cost addition enchantment that has the same effect. And if you can untap with that, then the game is basically yours, even in Magic. But the thing is, it's expensive and it can't be done till mid-game. And tapping out to play it's kind of meh. But as far as our game's version, just love it, but it's just a little bit much. Any return of stealth standby? I've asked about it. No responses, really. I really like it. They're, to me, a great design space. Specifically standbys, more so than, what's it called? Stealth is a little bit strong because you can flip them right away. So that's a little bit strong. The standbys that you actually have to set for a turn is a little bit more balanced, in my opinion, regarding design, especially with like Seer in the Blue Moon, or Seer of the Blue Moon and stuff. But no, I would definitely like to see them come back, but that's a personal thing. Do you have a binder full of Cheshire Cats? It's not a full binder. I mean, there's other stuff in here, but I mean, I do have those. Let's see. Is there anything else fun in here I can show you guys? Doodly, doodly, doodly. Ooh, all right. Here's a fun game. This is totally... Sorry, we're getting off topic here. I apologize. We'll do one last thing. Does anyone know what this card is? This one's actually not that good, but it's fun. And then we'll get one more. This one, for maybe only Kaifu will recognize, but... So, if you go through the Valhalla spoiler, you will not find this card. But that's a good card. Let's see. Aha! Someone got it. Trading gold. Yep. Good man. Let's see. Anything else fun in here? I mean, again, I'm just a regular player too, so I mean, a lot of my stuff is just stuff you guys have too. My new favorite combo in Origins right now is the your chance costs 3 less. You stack 2 of those, and then you play Time of Ragnarok with Pandora, or yeah. And so you wipe the field of everything. You automatically judgment, and then they discard their hand. It's only in Origins, but it's super fun. And you just ramp up to do it, and then they're left with nothing. Okay, alright. Enough of that. Back to serious questions. Why starter deck rulers aren't top tier, except Mikage? Are we forgetting Faith things, like stomping of the meta for X amount of months? I don't think that's a completely justified comment. What's your favorite ruler from this cluster so far? Favorite ruler from this cluster so far? Freyla is awesome. Shayla is bae. Hold on, give me a second. Let me go through. Welser is really cool. I really liked him. I mean, that's maybe my inner edgelord from being like 13 years old and just being like, oh. But he's pretty cool. So, level 100 games, how many cards did I ban, or try to ban? I'll say that I had a list of about 15 cards. I got it down to about 9. with a big watch list of about 6 cards. So my hope for Wander is I've tried to poke everything a little bit, maybe bring the power level more in line with actually having a fun game, and then the data will show me more. And to be honest, that's probably about the best we can do. I don't know off the colors off the top of my head. Yeah, all my students love. I get way off topic, and that's the 9 is for Wander. And let's be serious, right now Wander is a mess. So, I mean, there's a certain amount of work that has to be done. But yeah, I get off topic a lot. Students love it, and the plus side, I have some fun challenges for students. Like at the end of, I teach a public speaking class, and at the end, if students need extra credit, one of my extra credit assignments is, if you've ever watched Hot Pepper Gaming, I give them hot peppers or hot sauce or some gross combination of disgustingly hot things, and make them eat it, and then they have to give a speech, and depending on how hard I laugh, they get extra credit. So, makes me laugh inside. Let's see, are we going to see a specific fairy tale ruler? We have multiples of those. We have Grimm, we have Millium. Rhea is kind of doing that with some of her support. Do you think Force of Will will keep the full arts in every pack? I certainly hope so. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, player/user experience, and I think it's important that if something feels good, we should keep doing it. Now, obviously, like, some of the complaints have been that, like, the distribution is sometimes a little bit different, but it's so cool to have full arts of your commons and uncommons too. And yeah, I know it wouldn't fly in America, but you guys have other problems. Not to throw shade, I mean, I was at a school where that happened as well, and that's actually why I decided to leave. But anyways, the issue with the full arts, I really like them, and I really enjoy the kind of feeling, like, it. You know how awesome it feels to, like, get the full art, even if it's a common or uncommon of the card you want? It's like, that's awesome. I love it. Like, so if I have say in that, and, like, your opinion of it is that you guys like it, I will continue to push for that. Lore-wise, we'll be getting an ending. I miss stamps. What do you mean stamps? Do you mean the, like, Force of Will gold stamp on the cards? Oh yeah, I mean, like, let's be real here. I mean, the art is awesome in this game. Like, the reason I started playing this game is this playmat right here. I actually bought this playmat to play Magic, and I was just like, actually, this game's cool. I like it. Tell me more. And I'd heard about it, actually, when I was in Japan, like, in 2012 or something like that. I remember seeing, like, the big, like, Odin thing from Valhalla, but I was, at the time, just like, oh, okay, I'll check it out. Okay, whatever. But... will we ever go back to Adirachdia? I believe Adirachdia was destroyed, was it not? So we'd have to have some kind of thing to... I mean, we might be able to call people from there, but I think as a plane and or universe, I think it was kind of destroyed, or regaliaized. What are your favorite colors to play in Force of Will for casual play? So I'm a dirty casual when I play with, like, my friends. I love blue. Seer the Blue Moon. Original Valentina 1, the cheat 2-drops in. That card was super fun. And Kaguya 4, I think it is. I really like the treasury item one. A little bit linear, but it's all right. And then Shayla. So I'm a sucker for water, but I enjoy, to be honest, it's more thematically what I enjoy. Like, I really love having lots of options, and that, to me, is just really fun. So, like, I'm super excited. That's why I'm excited for Shayla, but, like, Shahrazad is super fun, too. Wasn't there a Force of Will movie? Yes, it was, and there was an article that talked about it's the individual studios are working on them, but they're not going to be linked to Force of Will. So they may come out in the future, they may not. It's up to those studios. So that's a difficult prospect, and with everything else going on, it made more sense to focus rather than to expand, if that makes sense. Let's see. All right, going over some questions. Give me a sec here, guys. I'm gonna read. Beepity boopity. Hi, Jen. No, I answered that one. So about the crest issue for Welser, real quick, just to answer, because I agree that he needed some kind of dual color crest or something. Like, this is just from a design standpoint. I can't say that it won't happen, but from my memory offhand, I don't know if there's anything in Rhea Cluster, so it might have to be something that we came back to later if we ever did something like that. But I can't really remember off the top of my head. But I do agree. I think that Welser needed a little bit something like that. But he's actually currently he's about one key turn off of being viable. And so I think this, new meta may... I mean, of course, he's a J-Ruler with... His inherent protection requires 5 additions. So there's a weakness in and of itself there, but like, he does have the tools available to be very strong. I answered that question. Jeremy, you want to copy and paste some questions for me whilst I scroll through here? Do you hope to make cross promotions with maybe a free boxing discussions? Also, sometimes. I talked about this in the interview with TCG Scrubs, and I guess talk about it real quick here. I have talked about in some way incorporating our kind of, what's it called? Oh my god. YouTube affiliates, like the people that talk about Force of Will. As a heads up, I watch most of the content that gets put up in some capacity. And so I think it would be nice to share some of that stuff. But it's just a matter of figuring out how to do it so that the world gets a chance at it, and it's not just the US. And so that's important to me. We're obviously all English speaking right now, but I mean, I know we have people from Colombia speaking right now. We have some UK people in here. There might even be some Japanese in here. Minna yoroshiku. So it depends on keeping it balanced for the world, basically. You're not totally wrong, level 100. There have been multiple final exams where I was playing on Untapped, so I do my walks and whatnot, but if I'm not proctoring and I'm just sitting up in the front, I'm like, all right. But I've also ripped tests up on people, so I mean, when people even try to cheat, it's super satisfying to just take their test, rip it up in front of them, be like, hey, you failed, bye-bye. But Do you plan to do something about the low and weird ratio? Greetings from Mexico. All right, Mexico too. Hola. Let's see. Are new mechanics around this cluster? Mechanics, I mean, some of them are obviously very specific, like Thunderstorm is kind of thematically only appropriate when Shayla's around. As far as, if you can give me some examples, I can be more specific, but, Science said, inversed get last R3. Will it last past R3? I think, God, I have terrible memory, guys, sorry. Like, this is not me avoiding the question, this is me working a lot and having bad memory. I think so, maybe? Will force... someone asked about the boxes. I've already answered it, but different printing company. So for the time being, unfortunately, no. But I like them too. They're really cool, and they're actually really nice for storage. Yes, the flipped side of an inverted card is a 0 cost, I believe. I think that was the ruling. I have too much information in my head. Are you someone who likes water? What do you believe the core aspect? So that's actually something really interesting. I tried, when I first started playing Force of Will, I tried to define what the color wheel was for Force of Will, and I've asked that the design team do it again for each new cluster going forward, is to put on paper what their belief of each color should be. So, of course, they do a good job now, but it is my belief that, like, being able to look at a reference and be like, okay, this effect probably goes in this color, what is the secondary, which is a tertiary color effect, etc. And so I think that's important. The part, more so for me, aesthetically, water is just pleasing to look at. Like, I love the artwork for a lot of the water cards. Were-Rabbits are cool. Cheshire Cat's cool. All the water rulers are cool for the most part. Concerning the printing roll errors, are Force of Will cards printed on multiple times? They can be. It depends on how sets sell, basically. We print a initial run. If that gets to a certain threshold where we're going to sell out, then we print a second one. If R3 gets to that point, we will, of course, print again, if it's within the time span. And unless it were to have, like, the mistake has obviously been corrected, and so it is to assume that a second print run would have the correct printing of the rulers. Yes. When will the sealed abilities? I don't know. Actually, give me 1 second. If it makes you guys happy, I'm asking for permission to share with you guys the J-Ruler sides of Shayla and Kirk. So, one of the things I was always bummed about was in the streams there was never any spoilers or anything. So I've often advocated to let me have something fun to show you guys. So if I get permission, then I'll show you guys. And then everyone's like, that's going to be on YouTube forever. That's great. Good job. how do you plan on making sure the toxic game environments go to a minimum? Great question. From the player-based side, there's a certain amount of professionalism that I would like to see that involves kind of redoing our judge program to make sure that those people in positions of representing the company are professional and that they represent kind of Force of Will Co. The same can be said for the players as well. There's a certain amount, and I get it. We have all age players and all different backgrounds and whatnot, but there's a certain amount of respect that I think the community needs. And I think on the company's side, like, at least going forward, my goal is to show you guys that we are listening and we do care about your experience, and you should have a good user experience with our game. And so that's the comments. I regret my life now. No, I'm kidding. But I do think that the toxic environment is a problem. Absolutely. And I think part of that is just, as a community, I need to see a little bit more maturity on your guys' behalf. And most of you are good, but there's some of you that struggle, and that's fine. You know what? But I think it goes both ways. We have to do a good job so that you kind of feel as though you should as well. And so that's, if anyone's seen the Superman movie, you have to give trust to get it. Yeah, that's a great hashtag. That'll go on my Twitter account. Every day someone mentions green. Let's see. Something about the weird and low ratio. What specifically? You're talking about rulers? Because if you can do simple math, you'll figure out the distribution will be different this time. However, if you're talking about anything else in the boxes, I'm not familiar with that. Ruler ratios. So let's count, guys. Ayu, Welser, 2. Gil, Panda, Rhea, 3. 20% each, right? So 40%. I know. R2 had 40% chance to get a new ruler. Let's look at the new set. Narlahotep, Shahazarad. Who's the other one? Oh, Imule. And then we have 3. And then we have Shayla and Kirk. So this time, how many? 60%. Woo! Now he's talking about super rares. Sorry, not to treat you like an idiot then. The SR ratio, it's lower because there's more cards in sets than there has been in, but it used to be 100, now it's 150 or 130 or something like that. So that's affected that. As far as I've heard from all the print runs we've opened, they're fine for the correlation. So, I mean, it should be as expected. I have mentioned, and I'll tell you guys this, I've mentioned that I think 150 might be a little bit high. I think a little bit less might actually go a long way, because I think, obviously, the experience of opening a box should be fun and enjoyable, and so in that, super rares are generally really good cards, and so it feels good to open them, and so we've talked about kind of still finding the sweet spot for the number of cards in a set, so that it's not like, oh, look, I opened a box and got everything I needed and in one. Or at the same time, it's no fun if you open 4 or 5, or some of you guys open a case and be like, wow, I got nothing. What? So I am aware, as I said, I do buy boxes, so I am familiar with the correlation. And just, it's something we've talked about. That's all we can really talk about. What? Oh. Every set should be 800 cards. I know. The Gil thing, I was joking with my friends, and I was just like, you get a gill, you get a gill, you get a gill. I'm being the force of will Oprah, giving out my friends gill. So I do know your pain. But I was fairly lucky and got a lot of Welsers too, so that was weird. But then I know another guy in Australia who got like 5 IUs, and it was just like, Bleh. Going back to the previous question, okay. Yes, they do. I know that players don't like the implementation of the sealed abilities. I think it was an interesting idea, but I think it was implemented poorly. I think that it could have been done in other ways, and it would have had the same effect, but implemented differently. And so but you know what? Like, if companies become complacent and just do what's okay, then we hit these kind of really dull eras in card games where it's like, it's safe, it's okay, but it's not interesting or new and exciting. And so sometimes we gotta push it in some directions and see where things go. I think being complacent is actually one of the worst things you can do. I've always said, even in a career, that like the worst thing you can do is just be like, I'm happy where I am and I have no aspirations to improve. Complacency is dangerous. And so I think even as a company, that's something that you always need to try new things, but remember and think about different avenues to do things. Not that I've heard of as far as increasing cards per pack. That's... I just haven't really talked about it. Alright. Let me just check. What time is it? I have no idea. Oh my god. Time goes by crazy fast. It's already 12:30. Oops. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Do I watch Ruby? I've watched like a couple episodes. To be honest, not really my thing. I'll be honest, anime after like 2005, and maybe that's even pushing like 2001. I don't really watch so much. Once Japan and the US started going towards that kind of 3D style with the computer graphics like edited over instead of the actual like keyframes and like hand drawn, that kind of pushed me away. Nothing wrong. Like, Arc System Works does a good job. Like, they have actually implemented perfect like CG anime to me, like in my kind of view. But like, I am a stickler for the old style. I love hand drawn. I think the quality is higher. I think the just overall production value feels good. So that's just me. Will we ever leave the grim characters behind? I get that everyone likes them, but they can't last forever. I think that going forward we will see an integration of kind of a broader universe, but I think it is kind of like, we've been kind of going through this long story, right? So it's, I mean, natural that they would be here. Anime is a cartoon. I mean, that's an argument in and of itself. Some people say anime is only Japanese animation. Some people say it's anything that's like hand-drawn. Some people say it's just anything that's not real life. So there's all kinds of debates on that. Not getting into it. Cowboy Bebop Vingolf confirmed. Shayla, all I want is for some peace and quiet. There's already so much that has happened to the seas during... Wait, what? I don't understand. Alright, we're not going to go down the anime road today. It's, to be honest, I don't watch anime that much. I just don't have the time. I mean, like, so on a given day, all right, when school is in session, so I'm at the university for like 12 hours, and then I come home, or I have some Force of Will meetings at like on the phone or whatever. Come home, have some Force of Will meetings, just like on Skype or whatever, do what I have to do, and then usually fall asleep. These days, I've been playing Monster Hunter for time to relax, if that's a thing, or like go out and, if you guys are familiar with izakaya, go out and get a drink, have a good time. But can we see more tech options like Guardian of Altean Law for color identities? Less tribe stuff. I think like a certain amount of that is good, but you just have to remember that, like, to put it all in one set, like the reason why, if you guys are just curious, let's talk about design for a second. The reason why Lapis Cluster seemed so strong in comparison to a lot of the Rhea stuff was because the color combinations got 90% of their support in one set, whereas in Rhea Cluster they got the support continuously. And so we're starting to see now Rhea Cluster kind of come in line with the power level we've expected. But it's just a different way of going about distribution, where like green-black got all of its goodies at once, and red-green got all of its toys at once. Like, so, oh, hold on one sec. Somebody's at the door. Yo, I'm still doing this stream. So you can go in the other room. But so just, yeah, the balance has been more spread out, and I think it, no, go. My friend, so since I can't go to locals today, he came over here, and we're just going to play Force of Will at my house. And maybe some casters. Let's see. I decided to make a battle cry for Shayla. Sorry, guys. I'm looking for questions. My friend is a huge Kirik fan. He just stepped out. So, yeah, let me see if I got any response. Hold on, I got like a million messages. Oh, sorry, I missed your message about where my house was. It's like, that's fine, it's cool, I just get lost on the train. Yeah, like, trying to find the house. Let's see. So, Freya got the Nullstone, like, directly, but then that affects other cards she has, and there are some Dark Elves coming, and they're beautiful. Still waiting on the J-Ruler permission, guys. If he gives it to me, I'm happy to show you guys, but let me see. Give me 1 second. I will. I apologize, guys. Alright, I'm back. I'm looking. So, gameplay-wise, what's better between Force of Will and casters? Very different, so that's kind of hard to say. I think that Force of Will is for me, it's the more competitive game, but just because it follows maybe more of what I know as far as a player. I play casters super casually. Like, my deck is like, I like these cards, they go cool together. Yay. But, so, as far as that goes, I mean, I have more data on Force of Will, so I can comment better. Going forward, though, I like it. Let's see. Will we see another Alice? If it's not something to discuss, I'll ask until something is said. As of right now, I have no idea. I don't think in Rhea we'll see Alice, but might see her again after that. What is your favorite underused mechanic? Underused mechanic. Good treasury items? No. Underused mechanic. I mean, I love Standby. To me, it's still underused because I love it. I think it should be in every set, and... oh, you're right. I forgot about the discussion questions. Ooh. Alright, we might have to push off the discussion questions for later. I'll probably go for another 30 minutes or so, guys, because that'll have been 2 hours, and it'll be 1 o'clock, and I want food. So, improve the lore. Make continuity. Let's see. Is the dragon in R4 poster Ragnarok? I forgot what his name is off the top of my head. He looks cool though. Alright, so let's do some... Is there any questions I can answer, or help out, clarify anything? Preferably ones that have not been asked yet. Otherwise, I'll let you guys take a second. I'm going to just test something with the mic here, guys. Tell me if this helps the silence aspect. Testing. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't generally stream, so. Guys, it's okay. I have a super secret spoiler. There's mermaids. So much for 30 more minutes. Nah, you guys got 30 minutes. Wait, did it actually? Ah! Shit. Wait, why? Alright, we back? We good? No audio? Audio should be good. I got it turned up and everything. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. No, got 30 more minutes. Okay. So, back to you guys. Any word back from You see the... Did I just crash again? Alright. The reveals are coming next few days. Alright, sorry guys, I was checking the messages. Was there any questions? Will there be a Vingo following R4? The Vingolf was, for this spring, was replaced with... Wait, did it crash again? Alright, no, we're back up again. Oh, are you watching on the same stream? Or are you using Wi-Fi or are you using your... I'll turn it off, actually. I think I just... I mean, afterwards, no problem, but just... Alright. So, alright, let's see here. Hello, I'm Kirk's cousin from across the range. Alright, so, sorry guys, just stream issues, I guess, but we're here. Can we at least admire Jeff's face in place? Oh wait, what is this? My good? What's my good side? This one and this one. Oh, all right. So, I forgot I had this. I'll give you one. This isn't even fun. This is fun for me. Give me one sec. Does this look familiar? Does this look familiar? Woo! But anyway, light support incoming. Jeff switched to his Jared side. Be like, I look like a kid if I put my hood up. Hey, I like this. Maybe I look about 10 years younger. That's cool. So, no, this is Edgy's. Yellow one is Edgy's. Yes, I'm aware that people did not like the implementation of sealed abilities. Got it. Wait. No, there are customs. Actually, I asked for a Force of Will custom tie to go with my actual daily outfit because I thought that would be fun. No, I think sealed abilities are good. I think the implementation is what so many people... maybe. Alright, sorry about that, guys. I think the implementation is what people had a problem with. Not the idea itself, I think, is fun and enjoyable. I just think people didn't like how it was implemented. Someone used, what's that green card? It flips over the ruler. But does Jeff have imperishable? I have the Gil Lapis Regalia effect. I just flip naturally back over, so you can't even get rid of me with a death scythe. In combination with Secluded Refuge, so there's no black moon beaming. High Speed Dash. Yeah, I was so sad when High Speed Dash left because I loved the white book that could flip back and forth with the tutors. So, like, I got to 11th in the Tokyo GP with the white book. So, yeah, what's up? But as it turns out, there are just some things that getting triple earthed on Judgment will in fact do it. So, what do you think would be the best way to balance green? As a design aspect, that I think green needs to have a very clear set of this is what green does. It does it very well, and then having an appropriately costed kind of database so that this effect is this much will cost on a card. And of course you can bend that depending on the ability to, like, is it multicolor? What is the difficulty to cast it? Is there caveat? Like the restriction versus the power kind of thing. But I think the way you make green healthy is to do that for all colors. And to have, like, to understanding, like, this is a great question that I like to ask people. How much life do you have to gain in order to want to gain life rather than draw a card? And to that same degree, like, all of those, how much life would you pay to draw a card? And then how much life would you give to your opponent to kill a creature? Or whatever. So figuring out those kinds of comparisons, I think, moves us in the right direction. Yeah, let's not have a tree combo again. I mean, I loved it, and I played that deck a ton. But, so clearly 500 life for one card is not enough life. And so then it becomes, all right, well, if it was 1,000 life, would you do it still? So that's kind of the design aspects I like people to think about. Pay 7, draw 7. Yeah, those kind of cards are silly. I'm not a fan of Grizzlebrand, if anyone ever wanted to know. I like Yawgmoth's Bargain is broken, and Grizzlebrand is Yawgmoth's Bargain that has lifelink and actually kills the opponent as well, on top of drawing answers, and can be reanimated. So, like, just kind of design aspects that I like to think about. And I think in our game especially, drawing cards is incredibly powerful, as is countering and a lot of other killing creatures, etc. So just, I think, finding the appropriate will cost to those effects is important. You want a really fun idea? Try to balance the Regalia. 400 life to draw a card. People have happily paid 500, so I don't know if 400 will get you there. Can we have original Chronos effect in the game? As much as I love Chronos, and I actually made like a dual deck. Here, insert friend name. Hand me my dual decks of Chronos and Loki.
Which one is that?
They're on the top shelf over on the right a little bit, like they're in the little... Nope. All right. One sec, guys. You find it? Yeah. Yep. So, I made Chrono... Oh, there we go. Balance is hard. Why is this so difficult? Chronos and Loki. So I made little dual decks out of it to, like, the Chronos is the OTK and Loki is basically the anti-OTK, and kind of to fight against that. So it's a fun way, like, if people just want to play with crazy overpowered stuff. It's fun. So always have them ready. Let's see here. Alright, so we got about 10 minutes left, guys. Jeff, here's a colored resonator. Who? What are we talking about? Whoa, this stream is so much more. Why is Narla called Scarlet now? Because, she got some passion? No, I don't know. Oh, God. I have to remember all these things can go on YouTube as memes, so I should be careful about my sassiness. Did the stream go down again? Acrylic rulers, I certainly hope so. Actually, let's find out. Do you guys like acrylic rulers? What do you think is cooler, the gold Ubers or the acrylic rulers for the was it 4th through 8th? Problem is, guys, it's Saturday morning here, so there's a lot of people that aren't like waiting for a message, so. All right, noted. I will note that. Very good. Let's see here. Phoenix 2 back. I mean, that's a. You don't have to use it. It can just be a trophy. So, as far as they can see your. I mean, you reveal your ruler right away, and generally, even with a two-sided ruler, when you call your first stone, people know what you're playing. So, no information about WPS rewards at the moment. Where do you get those boxes? The Yellow Submarine has them. In America, I've never seen them, so. The gold stamp. You're talking about the old cards? Just that was a change because the readability was kind of low. But let's be honest. If you play the game, you should know every ruler front and back. I mean, don't forget, Sergeant Killer. Like, there is a certain amount of people that are new to the game, that are learning the game, and so like there is a learning curve, and everyone that's going to the tournaments and the average player, yeah, we probably know what all the rulers do for the most part. But I mean, look at, even during the spoilers, like, you guys know the phrase RTFC? Like, that's very true. Like, reading cards is sometimes a skilled aspect of the game. It's like, I do this? Because I mean, players recognize their cards by the picture, right? So how often do you actually go through and read your cards? Probably not that often. And so sometimes players think their cards do stuff that it doesn't really do. And so just, you get that chance to be like, oh, okay. Where's the best place to learn the game? In the rules for the starter deck I bought, it doesn't show everything. To be honest, I mean, everybody's different, but for me, the best way was to just play with a friend. And, like, I think you experience, like, you'll come up with certain scenarios, like, what do I do? Then we have the hashtag #GetJudged, I think, on the Facebook page, and generally Stephanie Shaw or one of the other judges, Stefan, or many people, can respond to that and answer appropriately. The Force of Will database has card rulings on it for real basic stuff. So all of that is there. So yeah, you can use the light and dark forms, and that's fine. But I mean, then you obviously, if it's like a sneaky thing, then you just wouldn't use the acrylic version if there was one, right? Like, if it's actually an issue, just prevent the issue. So, would the company want, like, I'm a big fan, and I'll let you guys know right away. I like common sense, so please use it as often as possible. When we get Uber Dual Stones as G pre-promos. Oh, that sounds cool. I have to figure out how that would work, but that sounds kind of neat. If, obviously, that would be relevant if they stay around. will variant cards be available in any other rarity besides commons? I don't know. Let's see. Is there any way to report shop tournaments? There will be in the future. If you're in the EU or C currently, yeah, you probably have the system already. But our goal is to have a way for you guys to implement that stuff. So that you can show the ruler, or sorry, that you can show the, oh my god, brain fart. You can show the tournament results and we can see everything people are playing in all countries. Not just the big tournaments. Will there be any chance to reprint the CFC rulers as full art since they were misprint? Even as ascended rulers? What do you mean? There were Uber versions for the WPS last year. Jeff said to send to him. Looks like we got about 5 minutes left. What do you want to say? Jeff said send to him. Looks like what's the wrap up? Sorry. So, alright, we got about 3 minutes left. The wrap up. So, Edgy had just asked me to. This one I got permission for ahead of time. I apologize. I haven't gotten anything about the Shayla and Kirk stuff. So, for the time being, I apologize. I can't show you, but do know that I have asked in the future that like there be a reason to kind of spoil you guys if you actually come and watch. So today maybe I got about 3 minutes to get a response back. If I don't, then I can't. But my goal is that I can kind of preview some new cards sometimes with you guys here. Just as something kind of fun. You can see it here first kind of deal. So kind of a reason to watch. So, all right, the last thing is, so just curious, I'll look at the comments here. Is anyone interested in Architect or seeing some cool pictures or cards from Architect? All right. So, I see some yeses, some is. So, I know this is Force of Will and a little bit of casters, so I apologize. Oh, come on. Edgy, respond, please. He's a very busy man, so maybe he cannot. But, anyways, all right. So, for those of you that are interested, I will just I'm not gonna, I don't have a whole lot of time to go into all of it, but I will share with you a couple cool arts and their effects. So I'll put them up. I'll put a little timer here. I'll put each one up for about 30 seconds, or let's do 20 seconds. That's more fun. So just give me a second here. Let me change my timer. We'll do 30. I'm a nice guy. So. Just let me know if you guys can see this. It should be track and field Bolt athlete. Is Architects a new game or something? Architects is going to be a kind of limited release game. So it's not a TCG where like there's booster packs and stuff for now. It's just going to be some kind of LCG battle deck kind of things. So, but I love the art on some of these. I ordered them. I think I ordered them correctly. Oop, all right. next page. Oops, stop beeping. Stop beeping. Next we have, so these are from the different factions as well. And so to answer the question, similar to that, yes, there will be 4 decks, I believe, that will play against one another, and so when we have the time to commit to doing more, then that's a possibility in the future, but for the time being, they will be that kind of set thing. What are voice the two? Okay. So, we will use the term set pack of decks. How about that? That's me using that term, not the company. Let's put it that way. Alright, next card. Wait, is there a typo on one? That'd be funny if there is. I'll go through. Now we get to some of the art that I love. Like, I really like the art on Napoleon. So, yeah, I some of the, husbando, and there's the waifu, Joan d'Arc, on her card. Ooh, actually. Friend unit in the other room, will you hand me the architect decks that are on my little table? That one. All right. So he references Gene, and then I think there was promo art of Gene already, but here's the Gene of Arc. So she's cool and pretty. Anyways, that's going back in the back. And then last one, I love this art so much. It's in the wrong part of the screen, but I apologize, the screen's a little bit messed up here, guys, but you still get, art's awesome, fun stuff. Oh, I ripped the plastic. Oh well. Spooky. It reminds me of Odin, yeah. It reminds me of Odin a little bit, so very cool. Anyways, guys, so let me get rid of this. It's a little bit after 1. It has been a pleasure. I hope that I've been able to answer some of your questions. I apologize, guys. There were so many. Let me see if that copyright is on our card. Okay, it's just on the mock-ups of the digital cards. The actual printing is correct. That's what I thought. But as far as everything goes, I hope I was able to answer some of you guys' questions. I really do apologize if I didn't answer anything. Like, the comments fly, and so I tried to answer as many as I could. I also apologize. I answer kind of slowly and get off topic a lot. There's lots of silly pictures and whatnot that you can probably find from this, so that's embarrassing. And so outside of that, guys, have a wonderful day, or evening if you're in nighttime. I guess I'm the only one in Japan right now. So anyways, wonderful day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Oh, actually, you know what? Sorry. I just read one good... When can we see me again? I said it only at the beginning, but I am only going to do this maybe once a month-ish. So I'll let you guys know. I'll try to let you know a week in advance when it's going to happen. And so... yeah, psych. So I'll try to let you guys know when it's coming. The idea is basically, if you have it every week, there's not so much a reason to show up, and I probably don't have as much to say. But if I
take some time and give you guys some time to think of questions, and we can address things that are going on, then we can have a generally more just productive discussion. So that's why it'll be about once a month. So, all right, guys. Have a good one. Take it easy. Get some food. Bye-bye.